Okay, Miss Farr, bear with me. I'm sorry this isn't the best view, but I didn't have anybody to record me. But, okay, let's start. I chose to do my presentation on Nicholas Sparks because I just love his books and his movies, so I chose to do him. But anyways, biography. He was born December 31st, 1965, and he was born into a very religious family. They were Catholic, and still to this day, he's religious. He attends church every Sunday. He grew up in North Central California, and in high school, he was awesome. He was valedictorian. He was athletic. He actually received a running scholarship to the University of Notre Dame until his freshman year. He had an injury on his Achilles tendon, and that ruined that. But after that, he did all kind of stuff, just experimenting in what career he was going to go into. I mean, he went from publishing, law school, real estate, pharmaceuticals. He even was a waiter at one point. But I mean, he always knew that he wanted to write, but his writing just never really took off. But then he wrote The Notebook, and after that, it was just like a launch pad for his career. I mean, in like the first year, he made $1 million cash for that book. But after that, I mean, he just started writing book after book, and they were all, a bunch of them, was turned into movies, and he is well known now. And he has over 105 million copies worldwide. He's published 20 novels and 2 nonfiction books. Okay, his writing style. He is a very romantic novelist, but his books are never the same. They all have something to do like with love, but they never take the same perspective. He doesn't follow a certain guideline. He's able to change like where the novel's going as he pleases, and that's why many people love him, because all of his books are so deep, but they're not the same. Like, it's love stories, but it's different stories. He's very descriptive. I really like that about him. He really shows emotion. Like, he roots in emotion, and he shows the good and the bad, and he shows that relationships aren't always good, but you have to love the person for both. Although most of his novels are love stories, he rejects that he's a romance novelist. But, I mean, I kind of see him as one too, but he says he's not, but okay. And then, works not studied. Of course, I did The Notebook because, I mean, that's the best. Everybody loves The Notebook. The Notebook is a 1996 novel, and it was adapted into a movie in 2004. It's a very tender story. It's about love, of course, and it centers on the relationship between 2 teenagers, Noah Calhoun and Allie Nelson. And their relationship spans over 5 decades. They meet when they're real young, and then they get tore apart, but then when they see each other again, they realize that it was true love. The story starts, and Noah is actually reading to Allie when they're older in the nursing home, because she has Alzheimer's, and he's trying to make her remember their love story and who he is. It's very sad, but very sweet. And the story goes on telling about Noah and Allie, about how she was from a rich family and he was poor, and her parents didn't approve. But everybody just has to watch the movie because it's a great movie. And then A Walk to Remember. I also really love this movie. It's very sweet, but it's also, this one's really, really sad. This book was released in 1999, and it took place in 1958, somewhere around that, and it's about 2 teenagers being in love too. But it was adapted into a movie in 2002. This one is about 2 high school students, and the guy in it is very popular, but the girl is not at all. You know, I mean, she's just kind of a shadow in the school, but they end up working together and through a play, and they become very close, and he starts learning many things about her, realizing things she wants to do in life, and he starts to fall in love with her, but then he finds out that she has cancer. But he goes on and he fulfills all these dreams that she has. He marries her. He puts her in between 2 states at one time because she always says she wanted to do that, and it's a really good story. I think everybody needs to watch A Walk to Remember. It's a very good movie. And then Works Cited. I chose the first source because it really helped me learn about Nicholas Sparks' writing style. It gave me a great analysis on his books. Very good. I chose the second source because it gave me a lot of information on the Notebook. It was a very good summary. I would definitely recommend it to anybody researching the Notebook. And then the next source I chose because it gave me the best biography on Nicholas Sparks. It was very descriptive, and if anybody's researching him, I definitely recommend that source. My fourth source I chose because it gave me a bunch of information on Nicholas Sparks' life. It gave me a little bit more than that first one that I really needed to have a little more information. And then I chose the fifth source because it was a perfect summary of A Walk to Remember. It broke it down, and it gave me just enough to let my audience know, exactly what the book is about, what goes on in the book. I didn't read all that because I knew it'd take too long, but that's in my PowerPoint. And then Author's Impact. I think that Nicholas Sparks has really helped the younger generation because it helps them read more. Like when they watch his movies, they're like, oh, I would really love to read that book. I bet that's a really good book. So I feel like his movies have made a lot of younger, especially women, go back and read. Because, a lot of people just don't read nowadays. And I feel like he really opened up people's eyes in relationships. He made them realize that, yes, his movies are sweet, but it's not always good in relationships. Like I said earlier, you got to deal with the good and the bad. And then he also has a foundation which gives scholarships to kids. Everybody loves Nicholas Sparks, and not to mention he loves kids. This scholarship is for kids, with not a lot of money, and it gets them through college, and I think that's awesome. And then I think his writing has influenced the younger generation because his writings also portray grief, loss, and people just need to... That's so embarrassing. I'm sorry, my blinds fell.